great lesson we have for today. Let's review it. Our lesson today comes from our summer quarter that is entitled Many Faces of Wisdom. And our unit number 1 is dealing with wisdom in Proverbs. And our lesson today, lesson number 2 for June 14th, 2020, is entitled Seeking Meaning. And our printed text today is Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, verse 1 through 11. As we begin to think about our lesson today, Proverbs is written by the wisest king, Solomon. And Solomon is one who is fit to teach us and instruct us about the true meaning of wisdom. For as a young king, it is Solomon who prayed unto God that he might have wisdom to know how to go in and out among God's people. And it was God who bestowed upon King Solomon wisdom. And this wisdom would go on to help Solomon in his reign as king. While he reigned as king, his tenure as king saw no wars. It was a golden age. It was an age of prosperity. It was an age of building and innovation and construction and riches, in which Israel became prosperous under him as a king. Not only that, but also his rule was described by wisdom. He was an uncanny kind of wise person. We see that in the story of during his early years as king, when two women came to him arguing about whose child it was. One woman said it was her child, the other woman said it was her child. And wisdom allowed Solomon to say to those who were holding the child, cut the child in two so that both women can have half. And when one woman cried out and said, no, she can have the baby, Solomon knew that that was a mother's love. And he knew that that was that child's mother that was reaching out to him. Solomon, in all areas, is wise and able to tell us today about the meaning of wisdom. And all of us, as we think about wisdom, should cry out to God for insight, for understanding, for wisdom. In fact, our writing today tells us that we ought to seek after it like silver as well as like hidden treasure, because wisdom is the principal thing, is what we should go after. Now, in Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, verse number 6, it tells us that wisdom comes from God. So wisdom does not come from how much you know. It does not come from how much you studied or the educational institution that you went to. Wisdom comes from God. And it's James that tells us in that 1st chapter, 3rd verse, that if a man lack wisdom, let him ask God. And God, who gives unbridledly or liberally, will give it unto them. So our purpose ought to be to gain wisdom. And if we want it, it comes from God. And we should ask God for wisdom. If you're seeking wisdom, the good thing about it is you're going to eventually find God. If you're looking for wisdom, you're eventually going to run into God. And all of us, as we go through this life looking for a lot of things and seeking after a lot of things, thank God for wisdom that allows us to run right into him. Wisdom that allows us to find out that it is actually God that we have been searching for. Wisdom is the principal thing that we should go after. So we must center our lives in seeking God and in knowing him. And when we center our lives on seeking God and knowing him, here's the blessing. That's when we become wise.